Hello and welcome to the YOUmedia Podcast. I am your host, Montgomery, one of the librarians here at South Dade Regional. We're going to be talking about, in essence, the election from yesterday that happened here across the state and across the nation. But before we get started, let's all go to my right to do a quick introduction.
It's Gio. Amendment 3.
Oh, wow. Cut.
Debbie McCurcell Pow. My name is Nathan. Please help me. I've been
It's your
kidnapped.
boy Xavier.
Why you gonna throw me under the bus? Alright, my name's Arcedes. You can't get it right, just call me RC.
Like the cola
Yeah, no, like the little car from Kmart, you know. Yeah.
and the cola.
There's a cola named RC.
RC
My name is
Cola.
Izzy
RC
Dion.
Cola.
Yeah.
I have to drink that. I have to drink myself.
My name is Izzy Dion, aka sexy dude with the dreads.
Sexy dude with the
At
dreads.
Izzy Dion everywhere. Go get my music on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, YouTube, and all that. You feel me?
You have a YouTube?
Yeah, I got a YouTube. Oh, I have multiple YouTube channels.
Why?
I got
Because
SXB.
they never worked out.
No, they. No, I get a lot of views,
I get views.
little buddy. Okay.
Like 50?
Cries on the inside.
Yeah.
It's like,
All right.
Wow.
So
That one
pay
viewer.
them.
Mom,
let's
mom.
get back on the topic for today.
that was a way much funner topic to talk about than politics.
So,
I was
wow.
having
Yeah,
I was
I
having
think we
be
can
an
go
art
off
major.
on that, like YouTube.
but
Oh wow.
YouTube comments are harsh.
I like them.
Politicians comment.
You want depression? It's right there.
People be having
I
whole
just tried to do a
conversations in
transition
the
for you.
comments
So-
about random stuff that's not
Want
even
depression?
in the video.
all right.
It's like,
So
Put the
from
YouTube
yesterday's
video on and see the comments.
from yesterday's election
Kill yourself.
results.
Like, what? what?
Okay, from yesterday's results, what does anyone know about anything? Just curious to know what you guys know about the election results.
Some of them were tied.
I know absolutely
Such as?
nothing that happened yesterday.
Hold on.
Some of them got 50-50.
Cool.
I don't know who.
Oh, I heard about that.
I just know somebody got 50-50 voting for mayor or governor and
My teacher made a
Was
joke
it
about
this
it.
state?
this state.
This state, okay.
Yeah.
What else?
My teacher made a joke about it. She was like, "We found out that America is extremely precisely divided."
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there weren't any one side won over the other side. It was just more like, no, we're about even. Gio. So the other topic, what I wanted to kind of get a sense of, you guys are not of voting age yet.
Yet they tower over us, trying to force us to vote.
Yeah.
It's harsh.
Why is
Would you
it
like to vote?
frustrating.
No, thank you.
Why is it harsh? Is it?
I can't walk to the library without somebody handing me something
Facts.
or saying, "Can you vote?"
Because I got a full beard.
Exactly.
They just assume I'm an adult.
I mean, sure, I got like a big stubble, and like,
I
sure,
can't-
my voice is kind of low, but like, just because I'm, look like an adult doesn't mean I am an adult.
I can't be tall and be a child.
Tall child.
A man child.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't drive and have a beard and be tall, walk in the
I can't
library
pay my
without
own
people
bills,
assuming I'm
have
about
a
to
rent.
vote.
have kids and a wife.
I'm a 30-year rent mortgage.
Get a job.
I'm not an adult. I'm just a 12-year-old
Pay
son
taxes.
from the other side of the world.
And that's the whole point, is that you guys are going to be doing all of that. Paying
We
taxes.
will, but we don't want to do it.
Oh,
Now.
GLTC is teaching me how to pay taxes, so I'm straight.
I got a ear laugh.
Like, we're gonna teach you how to make taxes. That's useful.
That's useful.
Well,
Fall
technically,
asleep.
you should know what things are going to be affecting you in the next couple of years.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Since I'm gonna
aside from politicians, we all know like the major races like, unfortunately, Gilliam lost.
Who's Gilliam?
Oh, that Andrew Gilliam.
Andrew Gilliam
I
was
see him.
running for governor.
Was he supposed to be a good-
Everywhere.
Is he like a good guy or something?
Rip, my boy.
I mean, like, they make a good commercial. They make, like, to be honest, politics just make commercials, bad commercials about other politics. And
That's
then, like,
all I see.
And then maybe, like, one good commercial about themselves. And then, like, the other 9 are just about other people. And then the other person has another commercial about the same person who did that. So it's like, are you bad or are you good?
If you don't know, he was African American. So,
I would have voted for him then.
So basically, they're just exposing each other.
Yes.
well,
I'll try
Like,
to
did we work ourselves power with the whole,
He
like,
would've
Iran
been-
deal or something like that?
He
It's
would have
like-
been the first.
She didn't say she didn't do it, so
Yeah,
least Trump out of
she
office.
never.
she never said she didn't do it, which means she probably did.
So it's like raising yourself up while bringing the opponents down.
I mean,
Basically.
it could be smart.
Along with that
Spreading
bridge
propaganda,
that
I do
Donald Trump wanted to
believe.
build.
Yeah, propaganda.
Absolutely.
How many years Trump got?
Yeah.
Well, he has two. 2020 is the next election, which
Well, technically more like 1.5. No, yeah,
No,
my
it's-
bad, my
it's
bad, my
two.
bad. Yeah, it's 2. My bad.
so
1/4.
you guys are going to be probably voting for the next election.
Oh, for sure. Facts.
I was
I'm
gonna vote
be like what?
Kanye.
right.
I'm gonna be 19 by the time or 18.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So even though that's
Yeah.
on a national level, you know, what we had to do yesterday on a local level, I mean, even specifically to our county, was to vote for certain amendments. Does anyone know what the amendments were?
I heard about the sixth
Oh, I
one.
think something about the 6th
But
one,
I'm
yeah.
pretty
And
sure they
Amendment 3.
passed the sixth one, right? They got multiple.
Amendment
more.
6 and Amendment 3. Those are the ones that I've heard a lot about commercial, but I never paid attention because I'm trying to listen to YouTube.
I heard that there are 15 amendments, but people are always focused on the third and the sixth one.
Oh, something about the guns.
There's a whole lot more than.
Yeah, one of
15.
the-
Exactly.
There
Yeah, one
were
of
at before the actual ballot was done. There were 12, and then in September they ruled one out. So there's only 11 amendments.
But-
So some pages had about 4 to 5 pages of voting. So in addition to the politicians, you also have to do the amendments. So
Are they adding amendments or like changing some?
Both.
It's more of depending on how the amendment is being stated. It's a revision
Like an
or
enforcement.
reinstatement. But we'll talk about that because I want to give you what that amendment is, and then I want you guys to vote on it. So a lot of the times here with the amendments, you would need to have a supermajority. So since the 5 of you that's going to be voting,
Say what?
in order for something to pass based on your votes,
3 people.
3 people would have to be part of that 60% in order to pass. So I'm just
Whichever-
kind of curious to see how that would work in your favor versus what happened yesterday.
How many amendments is it?
We're going to be doing 11.
All of them.
11. So like just FYI, if you guys are 2 people are voting for one and you 2 are for another one, I'm doing a whole separate amendment. I don't even care what it is. I'm just gonna,
How
just
I
gonna vote
just
for it.
don't even do the
All right.
tiebreaker. Just go
Wait,
for
wasn't one of the
another
amendments, wasn't it to the
You're
right to
not,
bear
you're not
arms?
gonna get the vote.
And since
right?
there were so many school shootings, they're like trying to like pass. I think something about that.
Security upgrade.
Yeah, because it says.
Well, we're talking about for the. I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. This is just for the Florida Constitution that we're doing the amendments for, not the one that say the amendment number 2, which is the right to
Bear arms.
bear arms or
Also,
arms
each
with
state
bears.
has one for themselves.
Mhm.
Oh.
There's federal constitution, and then the state has their own
Right.
set of laws that they.
And
abide
then
by.
even on a local level, beyond that, you would have within your township, you can have other amendments. So it gets even more microcosmic to where you're doing and dealing with.
Civics.
Guys in Cutler Bay would have something to deal with that's different from where I live in Kendall. So that's where sometimes the main thing is more than just I'm voting for that guy, or this woman or that woman. There are other issues that are also going to be affecting you. So hopefully that this was going to at least give you an idea that it's more than just voting for a person. There are things that affect us all down the road. So that's why I'm trying to get this across. So, no expert here, and I'm trying to give this a basic clarity as best as I can. Let's start with the Amendment 1. Basically, this is going to be an increase to property tax exemption.
No.
Oh God.
Okay, exactly. So, the way that I read it is that
Unless you own a church, then it really don't matter.
no, is that if you have an increase of a property exemption, meaning your house is worth, let's say, $125,000, you're now exempt from being charged anymore. So, which means the county is going to get less money coming in. So there's going to be a shortfall. So basically, property taxes, what you pay, including the library, which we get a millage, there's a percentage of in the property taxes that pay for different services, and the library is one of them. So if you have a property that's going to be now part of this block that's going to be kind of exempt, that you don't get that, that means services like the library or your sanitation may not get the funds needed to make things operational. So would you want to increase, meaning do you want to have more homes part of this exemption? Yes or no?
No.
I already voted no.
Okay, well, put no.
Yeah.
Could you like say that again? Cause like I barely even caught on to what you just
Okay,
said.
it's okay.
I was
It's okay. I'm
thinking
trying to
about-
explain this as best as I
No,
can.
see, I was thinking about us, about how the government is working for us and how many people is making a joke about it.
Right, but who pays for the government?
We do
With
tax money.
right. So property taxes is part of that.
Because when you said taxes,
And-
I'm like, hold on,
Right,
I'm
the government works for us.
right. But
I don't know how
Or
if
so
we
people
have
say.
if we have more houses part of this exemption, that means less money is going to the government. And if we're expecting a certain level of service with the money prior to that exemption,
My brain
that
hurts.
means it's, I'm sorry. Basically, we will have less money for the government. Then that means they would have to cut back on other things.
Oh yeah, my economics teacher was telling me about this.
Right. So
This is
So,
Amendment
like-
1?
Amendment 1. So it's yes or no. Do you want this exemption to include more homes? Just write it on the sheet.
So basically, this affects how much money the government gets.
Based on the houses
Oh
Based
wait,
on the
what was it? I
houses
was thinking.
and their value.
And the
Meaning
value.
the
Stop that.
more,
Meaning, so the
right.
people that own houses right now, if they were to sell it, it would cost more than what they
No,
bought
no,
it
no,
for.
no. If the house is valued at $100,000, okay, everything that's under that, all that is part of this now. They're not going to get taxed any further. What they want to do is increase that from $100,000 to $125,000. So it means it will add more houses to the exemption, which means less money is going to the government.
So basically, we have to pay more money.
To keep the government.
In that sense, yes, but it's trying to lower your taxes to somewhat in your favor, but then the offshoot is that the government is going to have less money to operate and use those services.
I mean,
So
less
they
money,
can't
I mean,
do-
less money to pay more for me. I mean,
I get
Okay.
What you're saying.
all right.
So basically,
So
they
it
can't
comes
do
down
what
to-
we want them to do because we're giving them less money for them to do it.
I'm dying.
Me too.
I know. Trust me, it will get better.
No,
It will get better. This is one of the hardest one to understand.
I tried to leave this in
Yeah.
7th
Like-
grade.
I
No,
blanked
Should we
out
have
when
ice
you
cream
said
shots or
Amendment
not? Amendment 3.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is that the other thing that you have to take and understand is that even the amendments, as well as they kind of write, is still confusing. Because you vote yes for something, that means you're no for something. And I'm like, that's not what I really meant. But again, it's how the amendment is worded. So
So basically, it's selfish and not selfish. That's basically what they're asking.
So to one side you're selfish, to the other side you're not selfish.
right.
So it's all basically dependent on
You gotta sum it up
everyone's
like that,
perspective of you.
Let's
and
just make
your
everyone
point of
selfish
view.
then.
So again,
So in a sense, it could be twisted as well.
I'm a
it
little
could
selfish.
anything could always be viewed differently, no matter how well intentioned it may be.
It's
So-
like giving money to charity for children with cancer, but you haven't
you only
eaten
want
in
it for
4
fame.
days.
There's that.
I
Facts. That's facts.
That's what I'm feeling about this politics. Like, what?
Yeah, I gotta
You haven't
eat.
eaten in 4 days.
Yeah,
But there's Timmy over there with leukemia. Come on, dude.
But there's other people.
so give him your lunch money.
He's taking it.
All right.
I mean, like,
I promise you, it's gonna get better.
Not for me, though.
Except for number 2.
Except for, so the next one.
Amendment 2 or
Amendment
Amendment
2. This is the limitation on property tax assessment. Basically, they
words.
want to have a cap on how much you get charged per year.
What?
So we gotta
For
pay
your-
more.
They're trying to put a limit
Oh, how much I could get paid?
versus not having a limit.
no limit.
So if your house is valued at XYZ money, I will charge you 25% this
Who's
year.
charging
More or
25%?
less?
More.
Who's
No,
charging?
that's a hard no.
So
I
what
don't
they're
have
trying to
listen
say is
rest.
that you want to have a cap, and if so, 10% is what the cap is.
Wait, so who are
Absolutely
you giving
not.
money? Who's taking
I'm already
20%?
Tell me what
broke.
I
Not
The
to
money
mention
is going to the government
ghetto.
anyway.
Like, come on.
So-
So do you want them to
I can't afford
make whatever decisions about the increase in that fee it's
I
going to
don't.
be,
No, I
or you
don't.
want it to be limited to a smaller amount?
Limit
Does it
to a
also
smaller
give
amount.
them the flexibility of changing it whenever they want?
I don't know, but I think the thing to understand is that the cap would be at 10 per year, as opposed to increasing exponentially every year.
So if I live in a townhouse that's worth $325,000 a year, then 10% of that, and it can't be changed whatsoever.
Basically. But again, it depends on the value of the house. If it goes up much more, this would still limit that increase year over year.
Don't upgrade your house, is what he's
But you was, again, it's more complicated than I'm trying to make it simple.
Which is why I'm like, why are we talking about this?
Right. So again,
I don't
when
even
you're a
pay bills.
homeowner, you'll be dealing with this.
I own a pencil to my name that I bought with my money that I earned.
Your pencil
But
has
10% of that will go to the government.
How?
What?
You thought that was back in 2012. I don't know where that pencil is now.
So that's a good analogy. So that's your house. You want 10% of that pencil to go to us every year, or you want us to take like half of it right now?
I don't even have.
I'd rather
10%
give
of
you
a pencil.
10%.
We get
Okay.
10%.
So I need the other 50% right now.
What?
I is in
They're-
need.
That's not
All right.
math. That's not
So
good
2,
math.
yes
Oh,
for
wait,
10%, no, you want more.
I forgot
Take
I
it
was
out.
voting.
I put
All
a
right.
hard no.
That's all.
All right, so now the fun stuff finally. Ish. Amendment 3 is the voter
hold on
control.
before you say go.
Yeah.
Yes for them to take 10% or no
to,
for
to
them to
cap
take more.
to cap it at 10% each year.
And if I say no,
Then they're gonna do much more.
oh, change your answer, bro. Change your answer. Nope. Chris about to move in. I don't know where that other
This
half's
is
gonna
why
be.
we
He
don't
gonna sleep
allow
outside.
people to see what we vote because
It's called building a stable economy, my G.
No, but it's a
No, when you vote, you need one solid answer. You can't change it.
Yeah.
That's why we're not. Old
why
enough
you can
to-
rely on
we
each
just changed
other
our
to
answer,
give
matter of
yourself
fact.
information about what's going on.
this is why
We
I'm
also
not
don't
gonna
know
vote.
enough about who takes our money.
Obviously,
Exactly.
you're waiting in line
Like-
for a
Alright.
long time without knowing what you're
Like,
gonna vote.
who needs to? I should,
Alright.
let me not say that. I have a joke, but I
But we
should not say
probably
it's
might
not
be
child
knowing
friendly.
more when we're 18.
Okay. The voter control for gambling.
Amendment 3?
Amendment 3 is for
That's a-
voter
that's a-
control.
That's a vote.
Do
Why
you,
would someone even care if
as
you're
citizens, want control over what gets put into our state as far as gambling, or do you want the politicians to take care of that?
What?
Also, gambling is like a state thing. It's like it goes to. It's like
It goes through the politicians that regulate it. Do you
So-
want them to continue doing that, or you want all citizens to have a say in where gambling is going to be?
I feel like
I'm
they
not-
just put this in there so they can fill a blank in the amendment.
I thought it was illegal.
It was like we got this open
Well, no,
space.
it was illegal, but I think Indian.
What do I do every night?
Casinos?
On their reservations, they have casinos, so they're allowed to do that. But there are legal gambling that they can still do. But do you want the politicians to still run that, or do you want to have more say and let all of us vote on what we will do with casinos and gambling?
I mean,
Wait, as in where the money goes?
As to like new casinos or things of that nature.
Yes.
Oh.
so like if they run it, it's gonna stay the same as it always was. But if we run it, how's it gonna change?
Well, if they run
you
it,
would have to put
running
it by
it.
vote.
yeah.
It's like,
If they run it, you could just hear it in the news all
should
day.
we
Control.
put the?
I prefer not to because I'm afraid. Listen, these people voted for Trump. That's first of all. So like we already messing up. Y'all already know. Rocket Boy. Looking like a whole Cheeto. Do I really want a Cheeto to tell me where I'm gonna go gamble?
That's a cheat.
No.
Okay.
My snake eyes is where I put them.
Don't,
No, not GI
don't
Joe
go
Snake
spend
Eyes.
your money to the Mexicans
All right, so-
when
Well,
you
snake
go
eyes is, to be
gamble.
honest.
It's not
Do you
safe.
want to vote for it or against it?
Look,
Wait.
guys,
Voting for it means we get to choose what we
totally-
gamble, right?
You get to vote where gambling will go.
I'm
So
slowly
the
disintegrating.
people will get to vote where this casino is going to go to that location or that location, or none at all. But it's the voters that get to choose, not the politicians.
The only thing is that the politicians still get to choose what decisions are on the ballot. So it's like either oil company or new school.
Yes.
So-
I mean,
People
why
get
building?
selected, not
Why are
elected.
they spending money on things like casinos? We have enough casinos. Why don't they put that money to something?
It's not
useful?
always gonna go to a new casino.
Yeah. So we should have. So we would have more control on what to build, or just solely casinos. Period.
It's like we have a whole bunch of piggy banks and each one's
I mean,
labeled
I
with
know-
different things, and then they like separate the money into different things. So you
Yeah.
know,
I think never
if they
mind, I'd
ever
rather
need
control it.
to make a new casino, then they would do it because they have
What is
just crack open the piggy jar.
All right. All right. This one is a big one. Amendment 4. This is the voting restorative. I cannot talk. Restoration amendment. So if you had served time and you were released and you've done this, you do not have any voting rights.
What?
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 Like
So-
if you were arrested and did time already, or like
Yeah,
during?
you committed a crime and you were convicted and you served your time.
Isn't that unconstitutional?
In this state, you would have to go before the Florida board, including the governor, to get your rights reinstated.
That's
And not
a lot.
always would that even happen.
That's a lot of work.
Other states automatically restore your voting rights once you serve.
I mean, if they're like convicts that were like actually like convicted of a crime,
Yes,
don't
but
think
we're
that's
talking
what
about people
we
that
want to give them rights to vote.
If we had killers
If you-
who's killed serial.
they're
Some
not.
people.
But then like
Let's-
yeah, like what
let's
happened to my mom? She
clarify.
was convicted of a crime she
If
didn't
you
really do.
killed someone, I don't think you're going to be getting out of jail anytime soon.
I don't
sure.
think you should
Okay,
vote if you killed
so
someone.
if you did a minor thing,
Like shoplifting, maybe.
shoplifting, or you were selling something that was illegal.
But you ain't know.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. But you got convicted, okay?
If
And
you
you
were
got to jail
detained.
for 3 to 5 years.
If you were detained,
And then you're done serving your time. Do you want to have your right to vote to be reinstated?
In our perspective.
I mean, if it's just shoplifting,
If it was
it's not really
anybody
gonna
else.
change anything. Like
If you're a convicted
government-wise.
felon,
Psychologically, that would probably make it worse.
Yes.
Because look, they're gonna feel like they're not in control, and then go out and do something to make their situation better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
such as
great.
So just
In
might
our
as well just let them
perspective.
vote, and then like what's really gonna happen? We're just gonna get Trump again, I guess.
Yeah.
well, that's like
a
if
whole new Dorito.
if we have a mayor next that wants to legalize marijuana, and then
What's wrong with
the
marijuana?
drug dealer
Here's my
decides to
theory on
vote yes.
marijuana, by the way. I've never really seen
TV time.
I've never really seen like a pothead that has been sick type stuff. So like I feel like they took away marijuana so that people can get sick, therefore they could sell medicine and then put you in the hospitals, then get money. Everything's about money.
There's no
That-
medicinal
But
marijuana that you
could also
smoke,
be
by
used
the
as
way.
a drug.
Huh?
There's
to,
no
like, help you.
medicinal marijuana that you smoke, by the way.
What do you mean?
Like, you don't
just saying,
smoke a blunt of
marijuana
marijuana.
Cures a
for-
lot of stuff. Like anxiety, depression.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
But
help,
what
man.
does that
It
have
also
to
eases
do
your pain,
with
apparently.
the rights to
Wait,
vote?
what?
I just got sidetracked, yeah.
Okay.
Like not like physical pain. Like maybe you're like like emotional. You need to relax.
Okay.
Depressed.
Take it slow. Yeah, maybe
Can I,
stop
can I just
suicides.
can I just tell myself to be happy?
it's
I
that
could
works.
be
But
like-
like, for how long do you think you can lie to yourself?
Yeah.
I lie to myself all the time.
So it's gonna be a good day.
Why do you think
it's
I
like
act
riding
so
a bike that's on
confident?
fire.
All right.
And so is the floor.
Let's
yourself.
get back to the question then. Should criminals who serve their time get their voting rights back?
Yep.
No.
God.
Like I mean, like hardcore criminals or just like some petty theft.
If they got released from jail, they serve their time.
The only exceptions is murders and sexual
Assault.
Yeah.
Murders.
So
That's gonna be a hard no for me. I'm sorry.
thieves,
I'm not trying to have,
bank robbers.
I'm not trying to have Jimmy over here. Hey there, what's up? No, I'm not trying to.
I don't know
Jimmy
what you
vote
just
for me.
tried to.
What,
Okay.
no,
I
that's
don't,
the
I,
First
don't, I don't
Amendment?
want Jimmy to come over here and vote for someone I don't want, and then
But Jimmy's
they're gonna
if he
legalize
can't-
something
if-
I don't want
if
to
Jimmy
legalize.
can't vote.
And,
Jimmy can't vote.
turn around.
Okay.
There's 3 Jimmys behind you. What?
Okay.
Try to kill whoever it is he doesn't want to go and get elected if he can't vote for him.
Get into the Fortnite.
All right.
Let's be
Let's
realistic.
let's move on because we're running out of time here.
Yeah.
The amendment number 5 is a supermajority vote that were required to impose, authorize, and raise state taxes or fees.
Say what?
Raise
So-
state taxes as in we gotta pay more.
As a supermajority, meaning you have to have 2/3 when you put this in front of the voters in order for that to be raised. Do you want that to be in your control?
Who thought of this? To raise taxes.
No, you're not missing it. You're
Oh.
missing. To authorize any further increases in state taxes. It has to go by a vote of 2/3 majority.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it to be.
So do you want just a government official like the governor to say, I'm going to raise taxes for everyone? Or you want to put it to a vote and a supermajority of 2/3 have that voted for this will make
Supermajority.
it.
Yeah, I don't want government to come out of nowhere and be like, oh, you gotta pay $50 more. Where?
It wouldn't be raised that much, though. Like, that's the thing.
Then you would vote
My
yes.
head hurts.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
All right. Number 6, we have the rights of crime victims.
Do what?
It's just what the amendment basically says: creates a constitutional right for victims of crime, require courts to facilitate victims' rights. So a lot of the ads were saying that they felt that the criminals themselves would get more rights than the actual victims themselves.
Like, what about?
Kelsey Grammer talked about how he found out about the release of the person, I believe, that
Killed his father's
not his father, his sister. And he found this out on the news. So that's where he felt like, we need to have a little bit more of our rights to be part of this, because why is he getting out and no one's telling me about this, or be part of the parole hearing, basically, to have his say or the family say.
That I understand, but like,
I thought it was
So-
literally just
I fully understand what he means.
it was a vote to say that the government has to tell you when that person is being released, where
That's,
to, and
in
how.
essence, it's kind of sort of like that, but this is to create a yes or no,
Okay.
Yes or no for what?
to create rights for crime victims.
Hear ye, hear ye.
This is like what Gio told me
And
about the
I
old
think this is
lady
gonna be like my
getting
last
body
question right, because
slammed
it is
into the
5. I
water.
gotta get started on that.
Yeah, I gotta slide.
Wasn't
Alright.
it specifically
Wow, I
What was
put
it?
wow.
it was sexual assault victims, rape victims.
It was like everything that's like you mentioned is all part of that.
That you can get sentenced for life.
Well, it's more of
We're getting sentenced.
No.
How are you
10 years and higher.
What if you're 100 and
I
they
don't-
sentence
okay.
you to life?
guys. Let's just move on to the next one, please.
What if it was Deadpool?
Let's move on.
All right.
Amendment 7, first responders and military service member survivors benefits. Basically, they are awarding those who do public service awards of university, like scholarships, going to universities for fallen members who served.
Yeah.
Facts.
So yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, repeat that.
So those who are first responders and those who are working in the military and they get killed in action, do their children, spouses get educational grants or scholarships to continue with their education, things of that
Absolutely.
nature? Okay. Number 9.
Is it based off of the family income?
Not that I know of.
I knew it. It's always that one.
All right. Number 9. We're talking about, and this is the weird thing, they're combining offshore oil and gas drilling and no vaping in enclosed indoor workspaces. Do you want that to happen?
Yeah.
You want
Get
offshore drilling?
Offshore drilling.
You want that?
Like
Then
on
to drill,
land.
drill for gasoline in the ocean. You
Oh no.
remember what happened in the Gulf of Mexico a couple years ago?
What the fishes died?
Yeah,
Fishes
a bunch of
died.
stuff, right? Yeah. Okay.
there was like
So
a
do
huge
Remember,
explosion.
You remember what company that was? What company was
Sun.
responsible
Was their
for
name
that?
like Basic Oil or something?
It was close. That's close. BP. You guys know BP?
Yeah.
British Petroleum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So
Fishes.
so
is
this
not a
would
word.
this would limit that, right? So
Fish.
it would limit that
Jeez.
as well as limiting what else? Monty?
Vaping.
Vaping. Yeah, because those things go together, right? So sometimes amendments are weird.
Yeah.
Right? They sort of lump a bunch of things in together with each other, right?
Okay. What
So
was
if
it?
you want to vape, then you want to say no because you want to have offshore drilling.
I'm too young,
Well, I don't
so
want either,
none
though.
of this is gonna
You don't
Right,
want
count.
either?
and then that's your answer.
There you go. So,
Wait, so
then
did
vote,
we go
vote
6,
against
7,
that one.
8, 9, or is it 6, 9?
It's not text.
No, 8 is missing. It was taken off.
Okay.
So it goes into 9.
Voting yes is going against it, right?
It's going against
Wait,
it.
so
You
what's
don't
number
want
7?
offshore drilling and
I
you don't want
forgot. I just
vaping
put yes
in indoor
no.
places.
No, yes.
What was Amendment 9?
Oh, vaping, period.
I'm gonna kill you.
Usually on a ballot, I'd have to look back on this.
Is like a wax pen vaping? Or like, do they mean the
Yeah, vaping
No, it's not
anything that
drilling, like,
requires
it's-
smoke.
Yeah.
E-cigarettes.
Yeah. E-cigarettes, the whole thing like that.
E-cigarettes are like the same as cigarettes. I don't know if people believe that it's different. It's still the same thing.
It's just more
Just as
electronic.
bad for you?
Yeah, it's probably worse, actually.
Just as annoying, right?
Why do they always base it off of like a random like number of cigarettes per whatever you're smoking?
I don't know.
They're like, did you know this is 20.2 cigarettes? Like,
Well, then you're still half.
There you go.
All right.
Monty, what's
So
next?
Amendment 10.
just smoke cigarettes.
This one is going to be a little bit more complicated, but I'll try to narrow it down.
10.
This is
You can do it, Monty.
Don't even
believe
try.
in you.
Don't even try. Don't
no.
even try.
Basically, they want you to have more people to be elected into office. Those are we're talking about sheriffs, property appraisers, supervisors, as opposed to someone being appointed to those positions.
Yeah. So it's kind of like this, guys. So you either apply for the job, right, and you get the job, based on a job interview, right, like you would normally get a normal job, right? Or for jobs like sheriffs, for example, the people who are in charge of whether or not you get arrested or what have you, would you like to be able to elect those people, right? Right? So the people are hiring, the people who are under them would be hiring them, or would you just like random, politicians or whoever, some appointment committee to be hiring those people? That's your choice there.
It will help a lot because then they got to be involved in the community to get that, like, their face known.
Do you want to
That's
be
true.
stopped on the street even more because you want to vote for sheriff?
Why would that happen?
Yeah, you right.
Because you shot
Because
the
now you have
sheriff.
to vote for sheriff.
I did not kill no. that
What
detail.
amendment is this?
That's number 10.
Nobody thinks of it.
Okay.
Oh, snap, I skipped a number, huh?
You'll be fine.
No, 8 is missing, so don't worry about that.
But I had 8.
I put yes for
There you go,
8.
right?
All right, number 11.
So we're still going?
We're still going.
One more. Last one, guys. You guys made
Do you
it.
want? Okay, let's just do this. This is the best one then. And dog racing.
So, do you want to have greyhound racing, or do you not want to have greyhound racing? Right?
It's for it. If
I
the
don't
dog doesn't
care,
want to do it,
man.
then you got to do it.
How do you
though.
know what the dog
How
wants?
does the dog tell you, man?
Dog whisperer?
What?
He just won't run if he doesn't want
This
to
isn't
run.
a Pixar movie. You know that, right? Dogs don't talk, right?
They show emotion.
Secret pet.
They show
They're
emotion.
like,
Not greyhound racers. They just run.
Yeah, man.
Run, baby, run.
So
That
only
needs a
thing
new
you're
pair of
taught.
socks.
vote for them running?
So
You
is
want
it,
to end greyhound
do you want to
racing?
end? If you want to end it, vote yes. Right?
voted yes.
If you want it to continue, vote no.
I put yes.
They make horses run all the time.
It's a little
Next thing you
different.
know, they're gonna make you run.
Anyway.
I mean,
Don't go
that's
into the
track
future
is.
now. Don't go into
They're
the
like-
future.
All right. So let's do a quick vote of hands or show of hands for amendment number 1. Who voted yes?
That was against their two.
This was to increase the property tax exemption.
Oh.
There's 3. Yeah. Well, yesterday that was voted against by adults.
Great.
All right.
Wait, so we voted against it.
You voted for
As
it.
an adult.
voted for it.
If you chose yes,
You
Yes.
voted for it.
great.
So, but everyone else that voted yesterday said no. So that did not
Right.
pass. Amendment 2, the limitation on property tax assessments. Who voted for that?
I did.
I
Okay.
put yes. That's all I know.
And that's what everyone did yesterday. So that passed yesterday. Voter control for gambling, Amendment 3.
I put yes.
Yes. Voter control,
Did you put yes? There you go.
yes. No, no. Okay. It did get passed. Voting restorative act, the criminals getting their rights restored. their
3 or
rights.
4?
Number 4.
I
1,
put
2,
I
3.
put yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, so good. That did pass as well.
Mhm.
Supermajority votes, number 5. Also passed, so you guys did good. Okay, amendment number 6, rights of crime victims. That also passed. You guys did good. First responders and military service members. That also passed. You guys are on par. And end of dog racing.
Wait,
You skipped
to
like
end
2
it,
of them.
To
yes.
end dog racing.
Skip
Okay,
like 2.
Yeah, I
9
put
and
in.
10.
That's fine.
that's fine. Go back to number 10.
Vaping.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. The vaping and the offshore drilling.
End it?
Do you want it? Yes or no?
Oh, I
Yes for it, or
yes
yes,
for
to end it?
to end.
Yes to end it.
Yes to end it.
Okay, so that also passed.
Okay.
All right.
See, this is what I'm not. Oh my god.
It's confusing, right?
Trust me,
I
this
hate
is not
politics.
easy.
I hate politics.
Adults have to deal with this all the time, right?
That's their fault.
It's our fault for getting old. Oh
Nobody
no.
told them to get involved into it.
All right.
I mean, like, if no one votes, then no one's elected.
Exactly.
And then no more
Gotta
politics.
pause.
No, it doesn't work like in school. If everyone doesn't turn in the test, nobody gets a grade. It doesn't work like that. Somebody's gonna get elected.
How? There were no votes, so they have to choose someone, and then once they choose, then we like strike against it.
Well, I
No,
can't
that's
believe
not how-
I'm gonna
that's
be
not how
18
voting
years
works.
old one day, and then I gotta do this.
All
I
right.
put yes for
Well,
everything.
Monty,
Yeah.
as the other adults in the room over here, I have to applaud you for your ability to try to explain this to us because it was
tried your hardest.
difficult.
Yeah.
And I
I
can tell
was
on the
dying
look on your
inside.
face, you didn't understand any of it.
No,
either.
it's,
You didn't
Trust
understand
me.
not a bit of it.
it's been years, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I saying yes to something that I'm against or for? And I know.
It's hard, man. It's
So,
hard.
luckily, it all worked out. That a lot of things that we agreed with were kind of combined together, but this is the rare case.
Yeah. So like, let's just go, just not to extend this too long or whatever, but you saw the one where it was talking about offshore drilling and vaping, right? What do these two things have to do with each other? And sometimes that happens, right? So you'll
almost
get an
fell asleep
amendment that
during
says
that time.
we want to ban ice cream, but we also want to legalize cancer research, right? So it's like, okay, well, I don't want ice cream to be banned, right? But I do want us to, put money into cancer research, right? And then you have to weigh these things against each other.
What
right?
monster would do that to us?
These things happen all the time, right? So sometimes a politician, again, one of these people that you have to vote for, right, will attach something to a bill, right, to an amendment in order to
Pass something.
to make something, either get passed or to make even more than that, something that you want not get passed, right? So they'll
Look
put
at
something.
it like this. I end up voting for somebody
Yeah.
who's
And
gonna end
they're-
up taking something away.
Well,
like,
no,
oh,
they're going to create these amendments that you then get to vote on, right? You get what I'm saying? So these people are writing those rules.
So what if we voted for Andrew Gillum?
What if you did? Oh,
And he ends up saying, "Oh,
well, he's not going to do anything because he didn't get elected.
if
All the things I told you I was going to do?
If,
Lies.
okay.
If-
All right.
for
Hypothetically.
play hypothetically,
Yeah.
what if he says, "Oh, we're gonna up the pay grade for the teachers"? Yes
Okay.
or no?
Yeah. They were wanting to do that. Yeah.
Yes, but
But what?
students will have to go to bed a bit earlier.
Well,
Students would hate that.
well, the good thing is the students don't get to vote, right?
Yeah.
So the parents get to vote on that, right?
You never get
I don't-
to.
You're gonna end you're gonna end your child's life.
I don't know if you can enforce that though. I don't know if that's something where you could have police officers come around to make sure that you're going to bed at 8:30 at night.
Exactly,
So
like-
So you're saying
that's one of those unenforceable laws.
It's
right?
like-
The if.
But the question that you did raise up is a good point. Is that sure we all want the teachers to get good pay, but where is this money going to be coming from, or what you're not going to be doing in order to supplement that?
And remember, those first two amendments that you guys were voting on were directly tied to that, right? Because it's talking on where do we get money from, right? And so all the money that we get comes from some sort of taxes, right? And one of the biggest things that a state gets money from is taxes on your home, right? And so if you have a home that's worth $300,000, right? Depending on where that home is located and depending on what the rate for the taxes for that location are, you're going to be paying a certain amount of money, right? So let's say, for example, you want to live in a place that they have a lot of libraries, like we have down here in Miami, right? You guys all come and use the library, right? So somebody has to pay for the lights to be on this library. Somebody has to pay for Vinny over there to be your friend, right? And to say hi to you when you come in the door, right?
Pay to be my
Exactly,
friend,
right?
Vinny.
Somebody
Easy work. That's easy
Exactly.
money. That's
Somebody,
easy money.
well, to deal with some of you guys sometimes, really, is that
Not
easy
enough
money,
money with
right?
that.
That's easy
You,
money.
you see these veins popping out on Monty's head over
see
here?
no hair on my
right?
head?
Exactly. So
I don't think that would
somebody has to pay for that to happen, right? And that all comes out of that money. You know what I'm saying? But if you decide, if everyone decides, we don't really care about libraries anymore, right? We don't really care about buses anymore. We don't really care about the metro rail and all these sort of things, right? Well, then it's y'all voting on that stuff, right? It's you guys to decide what type of community you want to live in. And that's what voting's all about.
So like the choices, the amendments that they have, it's like you vote, you want something good to happen, something bad has to happen right after
Not
that.
bad. You just have to give something up, right? You're thinking about it in terms that are a little bit too black and white.
So it's like
You
want
wanna
to
go
do
to-
good things for bad reasons.
I guess so.
So it's like saying you had $1 and then they say they give you $2, but you have to give up that $1.
The best way is to think about it like this, right? So let's think about taxes in these terms, right? Either let's say you have $10, right? And either you and everybody can contribute one of those dollars, right, in order to have something that you all can share, right, together, right? Like a library or like a bus system or like a metro rail, right? And you all can use that, right? Or you keep that dollar and everybody has $10, right? And so you can use that additional dollar to buy an Xbox game, right? Or to, you know what I'm saying? You can use that dollar for whatever you ever wanted to buy.
There will be no library.
Right.
There will be no YOUmedia.
Exactly, right? So a library, for example, will maybe provide you with those Xbox games, right? Or provide you with those books or whatever it is that you might want to have, right? And though everyone gets to have access to that and share that, right? So that's the thing. It's either having individual property or shared property,
Shared.
right?
So the
That's
podcast
how that
over.
kind of works. Right?
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
All right. So next week we'll be talking about our comic book podcast.
Does anyone have
So-
a check?
That
I think
I will be awake for.
Yes. Next week will be much better. All right, guys. Thank you. See you next week.
My brain cells are all dead.
Trust me.